So last year, 2022, I decided to try a little experiment to focus on one thing for a year and see how I would progress doing this one thing. I wanted to pick something I was interested in, and I've been interested in drones for a while. I decided to purchase a Mavic 3 because it has a adjustable aperture on it. It also has a micro four thirds sensor, so it does a really good job of capturing a lot of light. So you can use it for low light work, if you're flying early in the morning or if you're flying late at night. The sensor on that drone is perfect for that, as maybe you'll see in some of the pictures that I show throughout this video. The reason why I picked, drone photography is I enjoy doing cityscapes because I live in Pittsburgh, so it's easy for me to go out and take pictures of the city. But I wanted to go and get the city from different perspectives, not, commonly seen from like nice aerial shots. So I decided let's go and focus on doing some aerial photography work for the full year. And you'll see at the end of this video when I show you a montage of my shots, which start from when I first started using the drone to when I was approaching that year marker, the progression of the quality of the photos, which makes sense. If you do anything focus for a certain amount of time, you're almost certain to get better at it. So out of that year, there were like 5 kind of things I learned that I want to share in this video. We'll say 5 tips that I want to pass on. The rest of this video is going to be going over those tips. And a lot of them don't just apply to like focusing on photography per se. They, apply to pretty much anything in your life. Like if you just want to really get good at something, these tips apply to that. So without further ado, let's get to it. So the first and biggest lesson I can pass on is building your confidence. And the easiest way I found to build my confidence was to educate myself in drone photography and laws, especially educating yourself in laws, knowing what you can and can't do as a drone pilot, knowing where you can and you can't fly, knowing that you need to go out and take the trust exam. The trust exam is going to educate you in the basic drone laws that you need to know to fly safely as a drone pilot. It is also a requirement that you need to do if you're flying as a recreational pilot in the US airspace. It's going to let you know what drone weights you can fly without registering sub 250 grams. It's going to let you know what drones you need to register drones above 250 grams. It's going to educate you, and this is going to help boost your confidence. And if you decide you want to go out and do commercial work, you're going to have to go out and get a Part 107, which is going to fill in many, many gaps that the trust exam left open for you. It's going to prepare you for doing hardcore flying work in the US airspace. It is not a complex exam to pass either. It's going to take a little bit of studying, but once you pass it, you're going to have your certification to legally do commercial work in the US airspace. This is also going to prepare you for knowing where and where you can't fly. So if somebody comes up to you and says, hey, are you even allowed being here? You're going to be able to say, yes, I am allowed being here. This is uncontrolled airspace. This is this class airspace. I can fly up to this height legally. I already used a loft to go through and get approval by using Lance from the FAA. I am okay to fly even if this is restricted airspace. It's going to help boost your confidence and help you get over fears as being a drone pilot by simply just going out and educating yourself in what you can and can't do. Because you can go and spit out the laws or what you can and can't do to somebody who's just coming up to harass you, who doesn't know the laws. It's going to prepare you, and it's also going to take them off guard, and they're probably just going to walk away because they're going to be like, hey, I'm talking to somebody who knows what he's doing. So definitely educate yourself. It's going to be a huge confidence booster and help you get over those initial drone flying fears. So the second thing I'm going to pass on, which is obvious too if you're a photographer, know how to use your camera. This applies to a drone too. A drone, while it may not have all the settings that your camera has, like your handheld camera, your DSLR, your mirrorless camera, it's going to have a fair amount, especially if you get a higher end one like a Mavic 3. You're going to have a lot of capability inside this drone to do photography work. You're going to have adjustable shutter. You're going to have something where you can adjust the ISO. You're going to have something where you can adjust your shutter speed. This thing is a micro four thirds camera, again, speaking to the Mavic 3, knowing how to set it up for bracketed shots. Because you can start out using automatic mode on that drone and just let DJI kind of dictate how your picture is going to look like at the end of the day, which is fine if you're learning how to use a drone and everything. But once you get comfortable flying the drone, you're going to want to go and put your own flavor onto these pictures. And the best way to do that is know how to adjust your settings, know how to use the different photography modes in that drone. Bracketed shots are great for capturing dynamic range. You can either do 3. I'm kind of a fan of the 3 bracketed shots. I didn't see a huge amount of difference between the 5 and the 3, so I stuck with 3, but you can do 5 to get even a little bit more dynamic range in your photos. So learn how to use your camera. This is going to help you boost your confidence because you're going to know how to quickly adjust your drone, and you're not going to be sitting there staring at the controller the entire time as you're making setting adjustments. You're going to be focused on flying your drone, getting it lined up, and hitting that shutter button when you're ready to go. Tip number 3 is going to take some practice. Now, whenever I was going out in the morning, at first I would just go out whenever. I'd get up every morning at like 4:30 in the morning, sometimes earlier than that, to just go out, drive around, find a spot, and post up until the sunrise came up. And sometimes you got a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sunrise and ended up with a beautiful scene. Other times you ended up with a pretty bland scene. And now, if this happens, I'd say just continue going and taking some shots. Challenge yourself to make a little bit of lemonade out of those lemons that you were handed, and just work on framing and maybe turn into a black and white shot or boost up your contrast. You could probably still come out with a pretty good shot. There's a number of shots that I got during the day that were so-so that I turned into a black and white shot that actually turned out pretty good. But learning how to read the weather for the area that you're going to be shooting in is going to help you out a lot. So some cloud formations are definitely more conducive to generate a lot more poppy colors in the sky as the sun's coming up behind them. Like very dense clouds, you're not going to get a lot. The sun's not going to have enough energy to break through the clouds to allow the light to diffract off of the clouds. You want some thin, striated clouds that are a little bit fluffy. Fluffy is the word I'm looking for. Or if you go out on a clear day, you're probably going to get the same shot every single clear day that you go out on, as long as it's not super humid out there. If it's a clear day, you get one clear shot, it's the same as another clear shot, as another clear shot, as another clear shot. So again, you can go out and practice doing drone photography on these days, but the shots aren't going to be very different. But there actually is something that could change up some of those clear shots a little bit that can allow you to get some really cool effects on, like, say, water. If you don't have a lot of wind going on that day, the water will be very still, which will allow you to get reflections of like cityscapes, mountains, the clouds in the sky, which can make some really cool, unique photos. If it's going to be a foggy day and the fog isn't like super dense and it's actually a low fog that's like closer to the water, you can get some awesome shots off of that as well. Another tip for me was, I live in the Pittsburgh area. Whenever it's like super humid out and hot, the shots aren't great. Pittsburgh, the city has a lot of haze around it. I found that the best time to go out and do some really cool photography work was closer to like late fall and also early spring. Whenever the temperatures are cooler, it kills that haze. You get a lot more cooler cloud formations. The light that was going through the clouds was way more poppy. So that is one thing I learned from the Pittsburgh area. Others might disagree with my assessment right there, but for me, whenever I was going out, that is the time frame that I got my best shots. And actually from doing that, I haven't gone out much at all in the summer because I'm waiting for that fall season to come around. With the weather will work with what I'm trying to do. Learn the weather in the area that you're shooting. It's going to be different as you go from place to place because some places are not going to have as much humidity as another place. Some places are going to get less rainfall because, like, after rainfall, this can also help the light diffract through the clouds some too. And you start getting those really bright red skies with like the layers of the layers and layers and layers of red and orange in them. But tip number 3, learn the weather patterns or how the weather influences the area that you're going to go and shoot in. There's a lot of different camps out there when it comes to software. Some people will say Photoshop and Lightroom are the best software out there. You can just stick to them and those will get everything done, and that's all you're ever going to need. I am not one of those people. I like trying different software. I have tried tons of different software. I've tried Photoshop, I've tried Affinity, I've tried Capture One, I've tried Luminar Neo, I've tried Aurora HDR. I've tried many, many, many different software packages. And what did I learn from this? I learned that depending on what I'm editing, different software packages have pros and cons, which anybody can tell you this. So for like drone photography, my workflow is I'll do a lot of bracketed shots. I will take those bracketed shots and I will put them in Aurora HDR, which is designed for compositing bracketed shots. There's a lot of settings in there after those shots have been put together. And then I will go through and do all my adjustments, the color adjustments that I want, shadows, bumping everything up and down. And then I will take that final image and export it into something like Luminar Neo. And I'll take it in Luminar Neo and do some even more fine tuning on that. And then once I get my final image, I will go and punch it into Topaz to boost up the sharpness of the image, because depending on like the when of that day, the drone may have been moving around. You can see a little bit of micro movement in the photos, which results in a little bit of blur. Pop it into Topaz, boosts up that sharpness, and I have like a great image after I've done all that. Now you can probably get away with just using Photoshop to do a lot of this, but again, for my workflow, I love those other software packages when doing it, because they're each designed to do that very one specific task. So I get in, get it done, and I get out, and I'm on my way. I've gotten very quick at editing some of these landscapes from doing that. It sounds like it may take a little bit more time because I'm using like 3 different software packages, but no, it doesn't. Now, a tip if you're going to use Aurora HDR, try out the presets, or actually not just Aurora HDR, any software package that comes with some presets, because you can go and play around with some presets and get a pretty good idea of how the software is going to do something by checking out the settings inside the software after you've gone through and use a preset. Like if you see something that you like, you don't have to keep the entire preset. You could keep the entire preset and like whatever it does, but you don't have to. You can just learn like what the software does to get a certain effect, and then take it and you do that effect, or you do those changes and make it work for you. Like there's some cool things you can learn from different software packages depending on what they do. So I'm gonna say experiment. Get out there, try those free trials of different things. There's tons of resources on YouTube. Again, this is tip number 4. Try different software packages out and find something that works for you. All right, the final tip, tip number 5, or lesson number 5, whatever you want to call this, just go out and create. That is where you're going to learn the most. Go out and try different things. Go out, post them online, get other people's advice, tips, whatever that you're going to get out of it, and create. You have to create. That is how you develop muscle memory for if you're flying a drone, like how to get it to do a certain movement if you're trying to rotate it around, if you're trying to capture video, how the different weather patterns are going to result in a different image. You have to go out and create. You have to learn how to just go out and see things differently. If you're afraid of going out and creating, don't be afraid. There are so many people in the world that are scared just like you, or that were scared like you whenever they were going out and learning how to do something new. That is the whole process of learning something new. If you are afraid, that means you are growing. You are not comfortable. You are learning something new, and that makes you nervous. So embrace that nervousness, take it, and use it to help fuel your creativity. And if you are still nervous when you're trying to do this, take a friend with you. Take somebody that's going to go out and, have your back, kind of watch things around if you're afraid of somebody coming up and bothering you. Or if you're just nervous in general, it helps to have a buddy there with you as you're working on what you're doing. But again, you have to go out and create. It's essential that you share your vision with the rest of the people in the world if you want to share that. There's a lot of people out there looking for how people see the world differently. I, for one, am. I'm constantly looking at other photographers, how they do their thing. I like to absorb other people's takes on the world because it helps me reflect on how I see the world. This is my final tip that I'm going to pass on you. Go out and create, make awesome stuff, share your awesome stuff, and don't be afraid to share it either. Everybody's learning to do something, or everybody at some point has learned how to do something. All the famous photographers you see out there had a starting point. No one started out perfect. So get out there, create, share, and enjoy. I guess I'll end this video with saying, if you found any of this inspirational, helpful, handy, please like, subscribe, and share. I look forward to creating additional content in the future.